Hey, what's good, guys? So I took Branded to locals yesterday. I haven't played Branded in a tournament since, I don't know, since before Quem. So that's how long it's been, and I have to say it was a blast. I want to show the list that I played yesterday and kind of talk through my choices and why I like this deck right now and why I like this build for the upcoming format. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and show you the list, talk through the games, and that kind of thing, the usual deck profile. All right, so let's go ahead. I'll show the side deck as well today too, because I had one and I thought it was pretty solid. But anyways, let's get into the main deck. Whoops, there's a little spoiler for you. All right, so in the main for the for the Albaz stuff, we have Quem and 2 Cartesia to start off with. Okay, so I think this is the proper ratio for pure branded these days. Like, you have enough access to Cartesia where 2 is going to be fine, but you still want to be able to use it twice. And sometimes you want to send one and then summon one so that you can have one engraved for Quem and then have one in your hand for like Guardian Chimera material and that kind of thing. So I think having 2 Cartesia is kind of nice. Quem in this particular deck is a one of. In the branded synchro version or in the branded runic version, yes, you want 3 Quem, but luckily for us and luckily for our wallets, 1 Quem in pure branded is going to be just fine. For Albaz, I still think 3 Albaz is good. You often resolve 2 branded fusions in the same game, plus you always want to send an Albaz to have it engraved for Quem to revive, for Branded in Red to be live, for Rinbrum to be live, and all that kind of thing. So it's very useful to have an Albaz engrave, and usually when you use Branded Fusion, you're going to go into a line where Lubellion is going to shuffle that Albaz back in. So you want another one in the graveyard, and it's okay to draw extras of Albaz or to have more access to Albaz than you would otherwise have. On to the Despia package. I'm on 3 copies of Alibur. 3 is good. This is your main normal summon of the deck. You have 3 Aliburs plus 1 Quem. Those are your normal summons typically. Unless you're going second, then Fallen of Albaz can be a normal summon as well for a board breaker type thing. But typically this is what we want, and that's going to be totally fine. And then for the other Despias, we have 1 Adlib and 1 Tragedy. I still think these are excellent. I typically side out Adlib going second. You kind of have a hard time siding in this deck because all of your engine is important, but Adlib siding out going second is going to be just fine because you're going to be focused on breaking boards and not setting up a double Mirror Jade or anything like that, so typically you don't want to be drawing this. For the rest of the kind of engine requirements, we have 1 Mercourier, 1 Albion the Shrouded, for Branded Fusion searching, for Retribution dump. Mercourier is nice for to search off of Lost as another interruption, plus Quem can send Mercourier, Bestial can banish it and go into like a Rinbrum line or something like that. It's just kind of nice for consistency. And then the Bestial is just the 1 Lubellion and 1 Saronir in this particular build. This is pure branded. This is not the branded synchro version. So just the 1 each of the Bestials is going to be just fine for us right now. If you want, you can play Magnuma and Druisworm in the main deck, or Baldrake or a larger Bestial package, but there's just not enough room in this particular version for me. So I'm only on the 1 and 1. On to the branded spells. 3 copies of Branded Fusion, no explanation really necessary. 3 copies of Opening. I still think 3 is going to be good here, just because we need to see our Alibur and then see our Branded Fusion. And if you already have Alibur, that's okay, because Opening can also summon Quem. Quem is a Despia monster. It's in her text, so we can summon the Quem off of Opening. And then our honorary branded spell card is going to be 3 copies of Fusion Deployment. Fantastic card for the deck. Summons out Cartesia mostly. Also can summon out Fallen of Albaz for the going second interruption, or just summon out Albaz. If you already have Cartesia, then you can go into Cartesia plus Albaz equals Albion, go into that whole line, even if your Branded Fusion gets Ash. So it's just a little bit of backup for basically any interruption. And then the remainder of the branded cards, we have 1 Lost, 1 Red, and 1 Retribution. These are kind of standard and have been for a long time. However, I do want to talk about Branded and Red. It was incredible yesterday. I wanted I almost want to play 2. Like, I think this card is just so good that I really want to find room for a second one and test it out and just see how it goes. Like, I was in some grindy matchups where I wanted to summon both Dragostapelia and, you know, Guardian Chimera, or, you know, my first one gets negated, I want a second one, and I can't always get access to Retribution, but I could sometimes, like, summon Aliber, get another branded in red, and this helps you play through Ash on Branded Fusion. Like, I'm not sure why this is, like a given one-of for such a long time, where I think it's just an incredible card. Okay, so that's the engine. You know, that's the whole engine. This whole deck, by the way, is 44 cards, I believe, which I think is like a pretty solid number for branded. You do need some things. You need to play enough non-engine, and you also need to, you know, play enough cards where you can fit in your sideboard. You know what I'm saying? So, okay, on to the non-engine. We have hand traps first. We have 3 copies of Ash, 3 Imperm, and then I played 1 Nibiru. You know, I liked the Nibiru in the main, and that is because of Titaniclad in the extra deck, which is an out-to Expertly Noir, because it buffs up the Titaniclad to like 4,000 attack, and you can swing over the Noir, and Titaniclad's unaffected, and all that kind of thing. So that's why I do like to main the 1 Nib, and that's going to be fine with me. Plus, on top of that, we are playing 3 copies of Crossout Designator. So, you know, just having the Nib in there, in case Nib is going to ruin your day, you can't cross out that Nib because we have one in the deck. Okay, and I like Crossout in this particular deck because, you know, obviously Ash on your Branded Fusion is very major, it's very significant, and everyone is playing Ash, everyone is playing Imperm, and there's really no downside to playing Crossout in this particular deck. I'm also playing 3 copies of Thrust. Yes, I bought Thrusts for myself, and you know, that's kind of part of the reason why I was excited to play Branded again, is because I had Thrust that can search the Fusion Duplication, which, if you are unfamiliar, this is kind of one of the best ways. If you're going first, you play Branded Fusion, it gets Ash, you can Thrust for Fusion Duplication. Fusion Duplication basically lets you activate Branded Fusion again on your opponent's turn, okay? So, and you know, if you've played the deck before, you know that on 1 Branded Fusion, through all the chains, you just get up into Mirror Jade plus something else. So that's why resolving Branded Fusion even on your opponent's turn, with all of the trigger effects that come in the chain, it's going to be really clutch and allow you to put up some kind of interruption. And then the final 3 cards of non-engine: 1 copy of Talent for the Thrust target for going second, 1 copy of Called by the Grave for even more Ash Blossom hate. So I have 1 Called by, 3 Crossout, and 3 Thrust to help me play through the Ash, and then 1 Foolish Burial for more consistency. You can Foolish the Despian Tragedy to search an Aliber. You can Foolish a Saronir to dump a Retribution. You can Foolish a Albion to dump a Retribution, basically. So, yeah, it's kind of nice and really solid for consistency in this deck. So that's my main deck here, and now I'll go through my extra inside for you guys. Starting with the extra, I played kind of an interesting extra, and I'm not really sure what the standard is these days, but I kind of like it. So 2 Mirror Jade, 2 Albion. That's been standard for ages. I'm still on 1 Lubellion. Like, I don't have a need to play 2, honestly. You really want to go into Albion. I would probably sooner play a 3rd Albion than a 2nd Lubellion, honestly. 1 Rinbrum. You don't typically make this off of Branded Fusion anymore, because that whole play with Rinbrum was good if you opened a Bisteel plus Branded Fusion. That way you can dump the Mercurier and then Bisteel the Mercurier. And in that line, you would search Branded in white. But I'm not playing Branded in white anymore. I think it's kind of bricky. So Rinbrum is really there as a Mirror Jade target, like to pay cost. You dump the Rinbrum, and then you have Rinbrum Albaz in graveyard, and that's kind of clutch and is a nice follow-up option. 1 Titaniclad, I already talked about, it's for Expertly Noir, but also this is your main Grand Guignol dump target, and that's because you can summon out Quem in the end phase, and having Quem on your end board is incredible. Lets you go double Mirror Jade, lets you summon back out Cartesia, summon out Albaz for another interruption. It's so many interruptions in one, and you can do whatever you want with it. 1 copy of Sanctifier. This did come up once yesterday against Rescue Ace, which was kind of clutch because he couldn't use any of the traps on it. So I was able to just continuously push through for damage with Sanctifier, and it's just nice non-targeting or non-targetable material. I'm not playing Gimmick Puppet. I don't know what to tell you. A lot of people swear by that card. I'm just not about it. So I do think the Sanctifier is worth playing even without Gimmick Puppet, just for the non-targeting aspect. And then also in niche matchups, summoning stuff to your opponent's field can be problematic for them. You can summon something to your opponent's field, summon yourself an Albaz. Albaz can go into a Mirror Jade, stuff like that. Okay, so yeah, that's it for the Albaz fusions. Now on to the non-Albaz fusions. I was on 2 copies of Grand Guignol, and I don't think, actually a second one might have come up once. I think a second one did come up one time, and I think it was worth it. So, like, really, this extra deck does have a little bit of flexibility in it towards the end here, so I think the second Grand Guignol was okay. I didn't play stuff like Alba Lenatus, I didn't play Sprind or Brigrind, and if you really want to play those cards, that's fine. You can just play 1 Grand and you're going to be okay. For the Grand target, I played Quertus instead of Lulu Lilith. I don't really like that card that much, so I think Quertus is kind of nice. 1 copy of Guardian Chimera for the branded in red follow-up. 1 Dragostapelia is kind of clutch. I do enjoy playing this card, and it really won me a match yesterday because I played against Floowandereeze at locals, which is unfortunate, but Dragostapelia still came in clutch and is still very dominant in that matchup, and it is dominant in a lot of matchups, to be honest. And then for the last cards, I played 1 SP. I just felt weird not playing it, and I figured like going second, not going second, like on turn 3 as a follow-up play, SP would be kind of nice. It never came up. I also played Typhon as well for the same reason. I just think that this card in here for utility is kind of nice. I think I would rather cut SP than Typhon. I think Typhon is more likely to out-problem stuff for you. So I think, yeah, I like Typhon in here in general. And then, yeah, SP is definitely cuttable. Typhon is cuttable. The second Grand Guignol is cuttable. Even the Dragostapelia can be swapped out for something else if you really want to. So, yeah, this was my extra deck. Sorry, this is a little bit off camera. I'm just not realizing. But you get the idea. I really wouldn't change much, I don't think, going into the next tournament. Maybe find room for a Masquerade. Maybe find room for Alba Lenatus if dragons become popular, but I don't think anyone's playing dragons right now, so I was happy with this lineup here. Okay, and then let's go into the side deck that I played yesterday. It's a lot of hand traps, so I had 3 Droll and Lockbird for the big combo matchups, and then 2 Nibirus as well. I was a little bit scared of Manatium, scared of kind of the fire matchups. Droll's not that great against the fire matchups, but you know, I thought Nib would be good, so I did play the other 2 Nib. And then I played 3 Bystials as well for anything that Bystials are good against. They're just good against random stuff. So I did want to play those. And then I was on 2 copies of Pankratops for going second as well. This was new ban list, so I did want to play the 2 Pank. I think Pank's an incredible card and don't see why not play it. And then the final 5 cards is 2 copies of Lightning Storm and 1 Duster. Because I'm playing Thrust, I might as well play stuff like this. Kind of nice searchable board breakers. And then also for Thrust targets, I played 1 D-Barrier for going first, and then 1 Branded Banishment for going first. This was my 15th card. I didn't really know what to play, but I wanted to try out Banishment and see if it would be clutch anywhere else, or for the mirror match. This card wins games. It's very good into, if you get Nibiru'd, then you can just bring back your Mirror Jade and then Super Poly stuff. So I just wanted to play it for the matches where it was going to be really good, and it's just a backup set for Albion if Branded in red, if Banishment would be better than red. But yeah, so that was my main extra inside, and I think I wouldn't change too much about it. I kind of want to test a second Branded in red that comes to mind in the first place. I think the hand trap lineup was fine, and you can modify that for whatever meta you expect to be facing. And then for the extra deck, I didn't have a problem, like I didn't miss anything, but I think there's definitely flexibility with stuff like the SP and Typhon and the second Grand Guignol. You could swap it out for other stuff if you have something in mind. Alright, so hope you guys enjoyed that. Let me know what you think about this list in the comments below, and I will try to get to those comments or questions whenever I can. Alright, so with that, I will catch you guys in the next one, and I'll see you later for some more branded content.